Hello, Bulldogs fans, and welcome back to the Raising Canes right here in Byron, Mississippi, and welcome back to the Kris Thigpen Show, the second edition of this. And I'm right here. I'm Trellis Williams with the TSJW Network, right here with Coach Kris Thigpen of the Terry Bulldogs. And so football is back. We got you guys are going down to Raymond to take on the Raymond Rangers. Looked like it could have gotten canceled due to all this rain that we've been having. How excited are you to have it back?
Well, despite some Ranger fans in the local Byron Raising Canes, I'm very excited to have the game back on. The weather's been an issue for a lot of schools across the state. Some teams have moved games to turf fields. Some schools have moved games to Saturday. But we got a little break in the rain today, a considerable break, and I think that did the field well. It's still wet, but hopefully, we won't have the amount of rain we've had the last few days. But I tell you what, our kids are excited to play. Our coaches are excited, and we're just excited for our both schools to be able to play the game.
Absolutely. I was bummed out when I heard that it was looking like it was going to be canceled, and so I could just imagine what those players in that locker room were feeling at that point.
Yeah, this is the first game, and we didn't get a chance to play it last year due to COVID, and so we had to forfeit our first two games. And so almost a year later, you just didn't want the players and the team to really have to go through that again. And so, the powers that be, got together and said, hey, this game is important for both schools, and we're going to play the game. And so as coaches, what we try to do is just make sure our team is prepared the best we can, given the conditions, and be ready to play tomorrow at 7:30.
You guys last week were able to take on South Pike for a half. Had a good look there. 14-0 in a half. That was a good look there for your team. What kind of preparation have you and the rest of your coaching staff have been making to get your team prepared for this game?
Well, we want to improve week to week. We know this going into the first week, we got to be able to play a full game at a high level. Last week we only played a half, but I was proud of our guys because they focus on all the right things, and that's something we've constantly talked to them about, is having the right mindset and the right psychological disposition when approaching practice, when approaching improving their play and their overall performance as a team. So this week will be no different. We've gone out at least 3 times this week, and that's how that's what we would normally do. Our practices have just been a little shorter. So.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about that. Just how have the practices looked when it comes to the details of them? I know they've been dealing with a lot of rain. How have the practices been looking?
Well, I mean, we've been able to get in all that we need to as far as the different periods of practice. Some periods have been shorter than others, but we definitely cover special teams. We cover the individual drills on both sides, offense, defense, special teams. And so this week has mainly been maintain your conditioning, maintain your strength training, go over all the installs, the new installs that you have for the game, and make sure all the players know where they need to be and how they need to execute given whatever particular situation they're in.
Now your offense, you're able to see them run like full strength, mostly full strength against the South Pike Eagles. They look solid, had a good look about them. They're about to take on the Raymond defense. What do you expect to see from the Raymond defense?
Well, the Raymond defense is, as I told our coaches, they're athletic. They have a lot of athletes, real good athletes on defense. They can run to the football. So just like with any game, it starts out up front, and we want to be able to control the line of scrimmage up front, especially playing a game tomorrow with the conditions being as it is now, a lot of rain. So we're definitely going to rely on our run game a whole lot. We don't plan to go out and just run the football, but we definitely it's going to start there. And then one of the guys that you'll have on a little later, one of our defensive linemen. On defense, it starts with our defensive front, and so You know, those guys are amped up and ready to play, and so we just want them to be able to play and go out and represent for Terry.
Absolutely, and so now we shift over to talking about the defensive side of the ball with your team. The defenses look very good, and every time I've been able to witness them in that scrimmage and in the contest against South Pike, the defenses looked very, very good. Goose egg for South Pike in that one. You can't do any better than that, you know. Can't do any better than holding them to 0. How do you think they'll be able to take on this Raymond offense? What do you expect from the Raymond offense?
Well, Raymond offensively, they're a multiple team. They have a really athletic quarterback. He can run around and he can extend plays. And so what we have to do is make sure we stay sound in our rush lanes. When we blitz, we got to make sure we take the proper angles so we don't get out of our gaps. You know, in our defense, we want to create turnovers. So when we get to the ball with bad intentions, we want to arrive violently, and we want to make the other team turn the ball over. And so that's something, you know, along with tackling well in space, all the fundamental things that comprise playing good defense, we work on. Coach Crosby and his staff work on, and so we have a good number of those guys that played last year, so they know the expectation. They know the level of play that they need to play at, you know, to be dominant. And so we certainly expecting our defense to play well.
Now, this Terry and Raymond matchup has not happened since 2019. As a matter of fact, it'll be the first Terry Raymond game that you've been coaching in, and this is your 3rd season coaching. So how big is this game for the Hinds County School District? Because these are the 2 teams in that school district.
Well, when I came to the school district and I started working at Terry, I really didn't know who the rival was. In 2019, as you said, I was an assistant coach then, and that was our first game. And I knew we were 6A and they were 4A, and I didn't really understand the rival, but it's certainly a big rival between both schools. Terry and Raymond are the only high schools in the Hinds County School District. And so, you know, Raymond's been winning a lot of games in basketball. And so even the basketball game is a big game. But for football, normally it's played at the beginning of the season. Normally in the past it's been great weather. So, but the past 2 years, COVID got us. And so, you know, we're really excited about playing this game. And I told our coaches right before we came down today that I've never coached a game at Raymond, and I'm going into my 4th year at Terry. So I know for our seniors, this is a game that they want to play in.
Absolutely. And so my last question is, so just going in depth into this game, what are the keys of the game?
Keys to the game, we definitely got to be dominant on defense, all right? But we got to create turnovers. But for our defensive and offensive line, we got to set the tone by controlling the line of scrimmage. And I think when we control the line of scrimmage, we have enough offensive playmakers and playmakers on the defensive side to really, really impose our will. We know those guys are going to give us their best shot. So we're going in offensively. Of course, we want to score. We want to be able to run the football and score points. And on defense, we want to stop them and get takeaways.
Yes, and I appreciate it, Coach. So looking forward to the Terry Bulldogs and Raymond Rangers game tomorrow night at 7:30 in Raymond, Mississippi. And we're looking forward to that. We've got some more interviews coming up, one with Coach Coleman, and that will be coming up next. We'll be right back. This is the Kris Thigpen Show. Hello, everybody. I'm Trellis Williams with the TSJW Network, and we are back with the Kris Thigpen Show. And we are talking with Associate Head Coach, Coach Rundell Coleman. And Coach, first question I just want to ask you is that you're in charge of a lot of defensive duties with the team. You've got 2 of the top defensive linemen in the state. How do you keep those guys being dominant?
That's a great question. I'm blessed to coach 2 guys, man, who I think have the potential to be state players, the SEC caliber guys. What you got to do is first you got to get them to trust what you're saying, and once they trust what you're saying, then the other part You just give them the tools in their toolbox to be successful. Teach them the game of football, make them fall in love with the process of it all. That's the biggest thing that you have to do when you have two guys of that caliber that I have in Tyshawn and Thailand. And it's kind of crazy because I kind of play off the name play, the two T's. That's what I call it. And so once you get them to do that, then you pretty much can kind of start seeing them, kind of blossom before your eyes. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And going down the defensive line, what are some names that we may not know or that the viewers may not know that you expect to make a big impact this year?
Well, look, it's a couple of guys. Well, first of all, this is probably going to be the most talented group I done coached from top to bottom. Man, look, I have a nose tackle named Bill. Jaden, he's going to be his first step is phenomenal. His relentless effort, man, just getting to the football, just causing havoc in the backfield. That's what you got to have from a nose tackle. You got to have a very active player. All right. So then I have another kid, man, who plays between nose tackle. And he plays in. He plays on both sides. And Kirsten Williams, kid, man, we've been kind of bringing up slowly as a freshman, a sophomore. Now it's his junior year. So he's going to be a big-time rotational player for us to kind of spot play some of those guys when they get in trouble. But, man, look, he's strong. He's fast. His hand work is phenomenal. Has a tremendous get off as well. So I'm looking for those two guys, man, to give me some good rotational guys. And I got a dark horse in that group between two kids, and I'm gonna try to see how it plays out. And that's in Corey Chambers and a kid named Smalls. All right. And I also want to mention one guy, man, who's gonna be a pass rush specialist for me, and Amari James. So I got some pieces to kind of work with. I got some tools to kind of work with. Just depends on what we play that week.
Yeah, not surprising to hear all those kind of names from me because that defense has been looking killer.
Okay.
And our analyst on the broadcast, Patrick, he says that the defense looks hungry.
Yeah, they're a hungry group, man. This group, man. Hey, man. First of all, we have a phenomenal coordinator in Jeffrey Crosby. Man, he comes in with energy. These kids, they buy into that. We want to pursue the ball. I mean, we want to actually pursue the ball. We want to level hats to the ball, and that's what we preach. And the kids know it. It's second year in the defense, which is it's starting to slow down for them. We can add some more to it. We can kind of be a little more excited than we have been with it. Got some kids that really understand, their position and what we're looking for them with. The accountability amongst all those guys are there. So, they can be a real special group. It's just about not just playing and getting time and trying to, just see, can we all meld it together.
Yeah, and last question, emphasizing this defense. So how would you compare this defense to previous years? Like, what are the similarities and what are the differences?
Previous year's defense, well, we traditionally have played great defense at Terry since I've been there. But previous year's defense, I want to say this defense, we got multiple guys. They're like switch arm and knives. We can play a guy at corner. We can also play him at safety. We can play a defensive end at linebacker. We can play a middle linebacker at end. There's so much versatility, Yeah.
Yeah, and so another question I want to ask is you guys on the coaching staff, from a program standpoint, what would you say that you guys have done from that standpoint to move these players along and push them forward?
Player development, building relationships, doing all the little things that it takes, man, to grow a program. Man, these guys are bought in. They'll do anything we ask them to do. We just work hard. I mean, we're blue-collar people. The people that Coach Thigpen, man, hired, man, are not prima donnas. They get their hands dirty, and the kids see that, and then they'll take on that work habit along when you take that work habit on. So, man, we'll accept the challenge every day to get better, and that's what we want to do.
Absolutely, and my last question I want to ask is just talking from a general standpoint there at Terry High School, what other exciting things are going on around this high school? I mean, we're going into a big first week game. What other things are going on at the high school?
Well, since the game is back on, man, we're gonna have a pep rally tomorrow. It's rival week. The kids, man, have done a phenomenal job, man, of drawing up almost like a homecoming atmosphere. We had different themes for the week, whether it's dress up day, match day, things. Tie-dye day was the day. We had a Western day, and the kids done a phenomenal job, man. Participation not just from the athletes, but just from the student body. So tomorrow, man, we're gonna cap that up with a big pep rally. Looking forward to that. It's be our first one of the year. I know the kids are looking forward to it because they've done a phenomenal job this year of getting where we asked them to go, doing what we asked them to do. So it's reward time. So we're gonna do that. Volleyball team, man, they done a phenomenal job, man, of winning some games. She had a program last year that graduated a lot of kids, so she got a lot of youth in that program, and they're fighting, and they're good, man. And just our theme for the year, man, is raising the bar. Whatever we want to do, we want to raise the bar. Athletically, academically, socially, we want to raise the bar here at Terry High School.
For sure, and we want you guys to go out to the pep rally and then go out to Raymond to watch the game. We want a bunch of Terry Bulldogs in the stands for that one, even though it's a road game. And thank you, Coach Coleman.
Man, appreciate the time, man. It's a phenomenal thing y'all doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. And so we will have some player interviews coming right at you here shortly. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Trellis Williams with the TSJW Network, and I'm joined by Terry High School senior running back Sharonsky Johnson. And Sharonsky, man, you had a good performance there against South Pike in the first half action right there. How do you think the offense performed overall?
I think the offense performed very good. Like, the O-line was holding up a little better than what they was last year. And that was open the holes for me to get through.
Absolutely, man, and that you did, man. How did it feel to break those runs that you did, especially on that first possession? You were just bowling through those guys. How did that feel to break some of those runs out?
It felt pretty good, you know. I'm just showing my talent to the world. I'm showing them what I can do.
Absolutely, man. You definitely got that God-given talent for sure. So tell me some team goals that you have for this team, because this team has a lot of potential. What are some team goals from your standpoint?
My team goals is to make it to the championship. I want that ring for my senior year.
Absolutely. Now, okay, and just I want to get into your mind here. Going the past 2 years of playing high school football and stuff, how do you see this team doing in comparison to in the past? Like, how do you think it's grown?
I mean, I think we've grown together as a team, and the chemistry just getting better and better every year.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you joining us, and we'll be back for some more interviews right here. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I am Trellis Williams right here with the TSJW Network for the Kris Thigpen Show, and right now I'm here with Tylen Coleman, senior defensive lineman for the Terry High School Bulldogs. And Tylen, man, defense has been looking very good, man. Been looking very good. How do you feel the defensive performance has been, particularly in that South Pike matchup?
I feel like defense was doing very good. South Pike, we was getting to our spots, and defensive line was, of course, we were eating. You know what I'm saying? We did very good as a defense standpoint.
So how did it feel out there to get a couple of sacks and get some good pressure on that? Because you guys were just y'all ready to go. And y'all look really ready to get that season going. So how did that feel?
And it felt great. And like when I got that first sack, and I was like, man, I think I got another one left in me. So I went back out there and I got another one. So right into my hands. Yeah, of course, defensive line was doing very good that game. Looking to do it again.
Absolutely, and I was talking to Coach earlier, and I was just asking him about when the game was starting to get looking like it was going to get canceled and stuff, and then how it got back on. I know I was bummed out when I heard that it was supposed to be canceled. I could only imagine what you guys in the locker room were feeling. But what about the turn to excitement that it's back on again?
Man, like I said, Mr. Scott, the principal came in, and we was talking to our psychology lady, and then he just came in and said, well, Raymond's back on, and we excited, we happy, everybody's jumping around. You know what I'm saying? We're just very excited that the game's back on, because they're our rivals, and we're happy that the game's back on, ready to go.
Absolutely, man. Tell me some of your team goals for this team for this year, because you guys have a lot of potential. Just give me your team goals.
Some of my team goals is to shut out as many teams as we possibly can, and our defensive goals, man, at least try to have about five sacks a game. You know what I'm saying? Some turnovers, probably about two or three turnovers a game, and try to have a bunch of tackles for loss, and that's about it.
Absolutely. What do you think it will take for this defensive front to just be dominant all year long?
For us to be dominant for this year, it takes us pass rushing, it takes us run stopping. It's going to take a team effort to do it, a defensive front effort to do it, and we got the people to do it, and we can do it.
Last question I have for you, Tylen. What are some defensive linemen that you watch in the NFL that you kind of model your game after, or just that you admire at least?
I really admire Cam Jordan. That's one of my favorite defensive ends in the game, defensive linemen. Who else? Aaron Donald. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Donald and Cam Jordan. Those are my two favorite defensive linemen in the league right now. Definitely.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you, Tylen, and we look forward to the game tomorrow. Please come out and support these Terry Bulldogs. You can go check out the pep rally there at Terry High School tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and then at 7:30 at Raymond High School. These Terry Bulldogs will take on their rival, the Raymond Rangers. That'll be tomorrow night at 7:30 in Raymond, but let's fill those stands up with some maroon.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, man. Man, we're ready to go, man. Appreciate it, Tylen. And thank you all for joining us. This is the Kris Thigpen Show. I'm Trellis Williams with the TSJW Network. We out.